All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Scoop. This is a great opportunity for us to let the township know what kind of services that we provide to everyone. And today I want to welcome Chief Donnelly from our Warminster Township Police Department. Chief, welcome.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
That's good.
Doing okay. So, a couple things a couple questions I want to ask you. A few things. First of all, I know I want to comment about a great job and how professional your police department is, and they do an outstanding job, incredibly professional, and that's a testament to your leadership. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I got great people. Like I said, it goes. We talked before. It goes to selection and recruitment and all that. So, we try our best to get the selection and the personnel that's out there that's available. I mean, we're competing with Abington and Ben Salem and Northampton and all the academies. And as you know, in the last couple of years, no one wants to be a police officer. So to get that motivation and that interest generated, I got a great staff. I got 2 great lieutenants. I got a sergeant and detectives. I got all the other 30 some odd people in patrol out recruiting and recommending people and bringing people in and pushing our name out. And we're, to our credit, my command staff and my sergeants have done I just took the leash off and let them come up with any and all ideas for recruitment and selection, so that we get the best people that fit Warminster Township and want to come here and work, because I don't want people to come here and not want to work, and people that don't want to be here want to be somewhere else. So if they want to be somewhere else, they can go somewhere else, but selection and recruitment are key, and they've come up with some ingenious ideas. I don't want to share them here because I don't want the other townships to know what I'm doing, because they ask us all the time what we're doing.
That's right.
But Sergeant Byrne and Sergeant McLaughlin and Sergeant Zaborski and Sergeant McKenna, and even Sergeant Selsker when he's here, they came up with some great ideas. One of them through my 2 lieutenants, and I said, sure, closed mouth doesn't get fed. So go out and ask and go to certain places, do certain things, and recruit people, because selection is key.
Yeah, and you've done a great job of that. And we've hired 10 new officers, and in the last 3 years, a little over 3 years, and I know you have a couple in the pipeline.
Yeah.
And that's great, because we need to continue to replenish as people retire. We need to get younger officers in here, and I know you don't want to talk about the particulars, but it's difficult because Warminster is not a rich community. Mm-hmm. We don't have the great resources as other communities may have, and you guys have done a great job with that.
Well, I just had a kid in my office, and he asked me about money and about all these things, and I talked about, yes, we're not the richest community out there. We don't have the Ben Salem money with the casino or the Abington money with the high-priced homes. But what we have is work, and we have things that you're going to be able to learn and understand. And then on the back end, with the sustainment training that we do, we put a tremendous amount of work into our training. And what we do, we have some of the best trainers in the county that are pulled everywhere to go. Lieutenant DeLuca, Lieutenant McCole, Sergeant Byrne. I mean, they all have their talents. Even our detective division, they really have talents on what they could do and where they could go. But the kid asked me, he goes, what about the money and the difference and this and that? And I told him, I said, Jalen Hurts, right? And he said, yeah. I said, you know what he said about money? And he said, no. I said, money's nice. Championships are better. We're a championship team. So that was my quote to him. We'll see if he comes, doesn't come, but he's getting recruited other places. So, and he's got other plans. He wants to get married and all those things. So we'll see. But money is nice, but you're going to make the money here, and our union is even part of that recruitment. They've reached out to that gentleman. They sent him the breakdown of what the other unions make, because they may make more money, but our benefits may be better, and in the long run, you're talking nickels and dimes. You're not talking dollars.
Right.
So, John Detective Schlatter and Sergeant McKenna and those guys, they've reached out. They've broken it down and sent that out to them and say, this is this is what it's really about when you compare apples and apples. So that's why it's a whole team getting it going that way.
And I guess it's unfortunate to say that you're going to be busy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, but that's just the reality of it. And yeah, and again, you guys do a fantastic job, and our retention rate is great as well.
For your listeners that are Philadelphia police officers out there, which I was, I steal a quote from the East Division of Philadelphia. All roads run through Warminster. You can't get from one end of the county to the other without touching Warminster. You could, but it's the long way around.
Right.
And no one takes the long way. County Line Street in Bristol, York and Jacksonville all run through Warminster. They're some of the busiest roads in the county. And all roads, you can't get from one end to the other. So, yeah, you have 35,000 residents in a 10 square mile box. And then you add Montgomery County, Philadelphia County, Trenton, all come through here to get wherever they got to go to.
Right.
So
This used to be a destination where people would take the train or come out of work in the city, come out, and this was it. Everything else was undeveloped. Now we have Warrington, Warwick, Chalfont, Northampton, and they all have to
Newtown.
come through, and Newtown, right? And they all have to come through Warminster to get there.
There's a reason the train and the bus stop here, because this used to be the destination.
Right. So you guys do a lot of traffic stuff. I don't know if you wanted to touch on that, and how, what you guys do to keep traffic rolling through
Well,
here.
luckily, we've increased our manpower. We've gone from 43 to 46. That has allowed us, but we have you're right, we have a tremendous amount of traffic. We have a tremendous amount of secondary roads that are really our neighborhood arterial feeder streets. Davisville, Centennial, Newtown, York Road, Park Avenue, Henry Avenue, Norristown, Delmont Valley, Ivy Land Road, Log College Drive, Mearns Road. I'm going up and down to Jacksonville Road, and they all cut through. If you know your way around Warminster, it's not hard. It's a box. You can figure your way through. So all the side streets all get some, or if not all, some of that impact. I mean, we're dealing with Phillips Road now. That's dealing with Mearns Road, some of that cut through, and then you have the school there. But we've had designated people. In the past, we've had a designated highway unit that did nothing but that, back when our numbers were different. With the call volume up and everything else, we've reallocated some of those guys to the squads, and they're handling some of the squad calls. Now, with the increase in manpower, we've been able to break off Ryan Cicadis from those squads, and that's all he does. He handles and addresses right now every complaint we have from highway. We still have the squad people, the people that rotate with the squad, but Ryan right now is working Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, depending on what goes on, and he's addressing all those issues. Henry Avenue, Phillips Road, Log College Drive, but we're not as we're getting there. And as we get these kids out of the academy and we have people leave, and we're trying to get our manpower up to 46 and actually count towards the minimum, because part of the CBA is that they have to be trained to the part where they count towards the mandatory minimum of the squad. We'll be rotating probably another person into that highway unit, and then we'll split the difference. They'll work more into the night and more into the day and cover 5 or 6 of the days of the week as opposed to just 4 or 5, and that'll address everything. With that, we do the speed details. We do the traffic analysis that we put up on the box. We have our trailer that we put out to educate people, and there's a system that where we put the box out and we count the traffic, how many cars we get there, and go back and forth. Then we put the sign out to educate the motoring public, and then the next thing is both our line squad, highway people, and Ryan Cicadis, our floater, they go out and they address those issues. So now we're having, during the day where most of our traffic is, we're hitting those problems more and more, and it's, traffic is basically bringing awareness back. And one of the most misconceptions out there is that the township makes money off tickets.
Right.
We really don't. We
No.
make, the average fine for a state citation, although you may pay $140, the fine itself, which is the top box, is usually anywhere between $25 and $50. the township, if that person's found guilty by the judge, we get half of the fine. So if it's $25, we get $12.50.
Right.
Now, if that officer is on overtime and gets called to court for that hearing on that particular day, that officer's making a minimum of a couple hours and making significant more money. So,
Way more than $12.50.
So when you put it into an accounting, when John Ramey puts it into his accounting formula, it comes up, we paid more money out than we brought in on that particular officer on that particular ticket. So tickets are basically in citations and warnings, and we don't differentiate between the two. It's about bringing awareness back to the motoring public, and that there are laws here, traffic, driving, reckless driving, careless driving, things along those lines. You're going to see the big one come out probably in the next year. Is these electric bikes
Right.
that everybody's zipping around on? It's a big thing in Delaware County right now.
They do move quickly.
Yeah, unfortunately, a young lady or a young child got killed on one of those bikes not wearing a helmet. So that's going to come, and they should be addressed by the House and the Senate, and they're gonna come around to it and get it amended. But unfortunately, right now, it's a loophole in the Pennsylvania law to an extent. We can address it somehow, but you're gonna see them go, and they do travel fast.
Yeah, they do, a gentleman told me he was on his bike and we were talking, this was at the shore, and he told me it does top speeds about a little over 35 miles an hour.
Yeah, they
But
move.
without a helmet.
Yeah, you can get hurt.
And you're zipping around and, you're in a car and there are some blind spots in your car and you can't see them but bottom line is that the traffic, we don't make any money on traffic citations and tickets, and the traffic and the motor vehicle code applies to everyone.
Yes.
So we should all just slow down a little
Yes.
bit, because it's always been my I actually proved this with my wife one time. We went to the shore. She stayed a little bit below the speed limit. I might have been a little bit above the speed limit, to be honest with you, and I think it was a difference of 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So does it really make you get there sooner?
If you
No.
drive the speed limit and it's not totally congested, these engineers, our engineer, our consultants and all that, they spend a whole lot of time timing these lights. So if you start at Valley Road, you may hit a light at Mearns if you drive the speed limit.
Right.
And then you hit Mearns, and then you may get through to Jacksonville Road or Newtown Road or Johnsville Road, if you drive the speed limit. Now, there's rush hour times. York Road, from Street Road to York Road, every day gets 15,000 cars one way and 16,000 cars the other. That's a lot of traffic.
Right.
Street roads probably double that. These our little side streets, I bring the numbers into you and you're like, and the board's like, this road got 10,000 cars
Right.
in a
Yeah,
day? I'm like, yeah.
It's hard to believe.
Yeah, the volume.
That much traffic.
The volume distorts what people see. When you see, they could be driving 25 or 30 miles an hour, and unfortunately, we don't have radar. That's another thing I'd like the House and the Senate to address. We're the only state in all 50 that does not use radar.
Yeah, what's it, VASCAR or something?
Yeah,
it
we
used
use
to be called?
VASCAR, which is a timing system. It's basically speed equals distance divided by time. That's the math equation. But your speed is determined by the distance, the white lines we have on the road, and the timing going through that. So if you go through it in 3 seconds and it's 75 feet, it's one speed. You go through it in 2 seconds in 75 feet, so the distance stays the same. The time you are between those lines changes depending on your speed. And it's an average speed through the zone.
Right.
And that's what we have to cite on. And because it's not or for reasons that it's not radar and it's not as accurate, it's more of an average, we're required to give so many miles over the speed limit before we even cite. So we can't cite to like 6 or 7 miles over the speed limit.
Oh, you revealed it.
Yeah, whatever it is. But you're judging it. You're gauged, but you get there, and then judges, not necessarily Judge O'Neill, but other judges we've had in the past, Capuccio, Kelly, they've had certain standards where they like to be more lenient, and they want to see more distance between, or more time between fines. So we've had, I think Capuccio's was 15 miles an hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his was high as 15 miles an hour. And if you didn't have 15 miles an hour, you better have substantial facts to reason why you didn't have that. Now, Judge Capuccio was a police officer here for a long time. He was a very good judge. I got along with him very well. So if I brought a case in front of him that was below that, he understood it. So, certain judges, they have their discretion on where they want to see things and what they believe is a true crime. But the volume of traffic that we get, Horsham's build up, Warrington's build up, Warwick's building up, that all draws, they all come through here.
Right.
So that distorts people's view on, they're all speeding. Well, may not be speeding, but you may have seen 5 cars in a line, bumper to bumper, driving at 35 miles an hour, and
Right.
that looks more ominous than one car doing 35 miles an hour.
And I know everyone, including myself, sometimes you're driving down one of the feeder roads like Davisville or Delmont or whatever, and you're not really, you're driving, you're paying attention, but you're thinking about something
Yeah.
else. So you're not really paying attention. And what I've always found, and this is everywhere that when I'm driving, is that those radar signs that show your speed kind of bring you back to focus on your driving and not what you're thinking about.
Yes.
And so I think, I'm going to ask your opinion. I think they're effective. For me, anyway, they are. But, do they seem to work?
They seem to work. We've put them on Newtown Road. We had them on Log College. We've had them on Norristown. We've had them on Delmont. But the other thing that affect is that, and you brought it up, and you're doing a good job, is that everybody likes good roads.
Right.
But
Well, that helps.
the construction of roads and building has grown, and the engineering behind them is amazing. But unfortunately, you build good roads, Delmont Avenue looks like a landing strip.
Right.
It just, your car just as grabs, and the materials they use, they just grab, and it'll just go. And you're thinking about your life, what your shopping list is, what your wife just told you, where your kids are at, what's going on at work, and your mind wheres. That's why we bring your awareness back to what you're doing when we traffic stop.
Yeah, I
And
think
it's an
they're
awareness thing, not necessarily a punishment thing. It's only a summary citation, but it's an awareness to get you back to, like, this is what you're doing. And that's what those signs do. Those flashing signs, those
Right.
blinking signs, that's all awareness to bring your attention back to grab your attention to say, the speed limit's here, because you usually see a speed limit sign attached to it.
right.
This is 25, or this is 35, or this is 30 miles an hour speed zone, and
It'll have your
it's
speed.
like it'll have your speed
Right.
looking right at you.
Right. No,
And it's
I
like-
think they're effective.
Yeah, they are.
As far as traffic calming, we'll get into speed bumps with the emergency manager later on. So, I know we've, let's see, where are we going to go here? I know you've been putting in requests for funding. We have some antiquated systems in our police cars and our, body cams, dash cams, the onboard computer systems. They've reached their life's end. And I know we've been trying to secure some funding for this. And you've done a great job. Your staff have done a fantastic job of getting these requests in on time and very, very detailed. And then me, as an elected official, it's my job to go out and try to twist some arms and explain to the elected officials above me, like our state rep and our state senator, our congressman, our senators down in Washington, why it's so important to fund this. Because again, we have limited resources as far as our tax base and the amount of money we can bring in and spend. So if you could just touch on, Chief Donnelly, some of the challenges that we face all the time with that.
Yeah, well, it started a couple years ago. I see these other townships getting grants here and grants there, and funding streams that are coming in outside. And I sat back and I was talking to my neighbor and some of my cops that live in town. They're like, Warminster pays their fair share of taxes, but Warminster doesn't. They give, but they don't take. Well, I kind of flipped the switch in myself and I said, it's time for Warminster to start getting their portion of it. So we reached out to Senator Fetterman, Representative Monroe, Rep. Brian Fitzpatrick, Senator Ferry, and Brian Monroe is the first one that came through for us last year. Like you said, our body cameras, our in-car cameras, our systems, the company closed, they're out of life, it's time to rejuvenate. He came through with a $250,000 grant for us, which I wasn't expecting, and he came through for us. He's only the second one to come through for us on anything in the history that I've been here, 29 years. You know, one was Bernie O'Neill back when he was in office, and now Brian Monroe in his first 2 years came through with us. Now, we reached out to Senator Fetterman and all that last year. We put in for a grant. It got in, we got approved, it went through the system, and when they readdressed the federal government budget in March of this year, it got pulled. Well, along with everybody else, they got pulled. That was an $800,000 grant. Now, I got a little aggressive. I asked for $1 million and some, and it wound up getting cut down to $800,000.
I know how that works.
Yeah, so I got cut down. I did go hard and I did go heavy. But then Senator Ferry from our senator, because for people that don't know, we had Greenleaf, and then we had Colette, and they were mainly Montgomery County state senators.
Right.
And Warminster was like a little bump in their district.
Yeah, it was a little sliver.
Yeah,
that was
and
kinda
we were the
added,
only ones
yeah.
out there. So the state reorganized, and we got Senator Ferry in Bucks County. He's a Bucks County person. He's a Middletown person. We're similar to Middletown. If you look at they're like twice our size or 3 times our size, but same blue collar, technology. We're about a couple thousand jobs off each other police wise, but he reached out to us, so we're working with him, and then Brian Fitzpatrick. But right now, and I just showed you today, we have a grant through Fetterman's office that he pushed through for us for $735,000. Now that's going to go to the October budget. If it passes through October budget, we'll get notified sometime around December, and then it'll come, if the money gets through, it'll come sometime around March. So it's a series of checkpoints as we go through. Hopefully we get it, and then there's a plan for it all the way through.
But the $735,000 was, we asked for, what was it, $2 million?
Yeah, it was up there. At
Yeah.
one point, it was. I want to say it was close to 4 because I got a little aggressive and I asked for like $3.1 million in land.
I do the same. That's right.
I did.
That's right.
And the Fetterman's office called me back and said, "What do you need $3 million for?" And I said, "Well, because I need it, and I want to buy a piece of land for the township." And they're like, "Yeah, that's your government, that's your township that has to do that." And the police department, I don't know if that'll fly. So we got cut back down to like $1.4 million, and I went a little aggressive. So I learned a lesson that way.
Well, I know, for myself and Shenandoah and Woods and all the additional funding I asked for, you have to do that because if you ask for what you need, you're never going to get it. So you always have to ask for more. I mean, this is the unfortunate part of it. But $735,000 to upgrade tell the public what we're actually going to use that money for.
What we're going to use it for is we use body cameras, in-car cameras for our cars. The company we used from '05 when that Bernie O'Neill helped us get, '05 to about 2023, that company went defunct. So that's every car, every camera, and then the life of those cameras died off. So we're going to Axon. You'll see the Axon cameras going on. You usually see them in all the press and all the news and everything. They're the real clear videos. They have some unique qualities to them. Some of them write reports, some of them translate for you, depending on what you purchased, because they're almost a la carte. But they're the top worldwide camera out there, and that's what we're looking to get into a system and a contract with them long term, so that we're covered for 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah, and I know right now, Larry, our IT guy, he's out there in the 180-degree car trying to keep everything functioning and running. So, and honestly, Chief, and you know this, and you've told me this before, it's really for the benefit and the safety of the public and our police officers, not just for our police officers, it's for the,
Yeah, it gives a true and accurate statement of what actually transpired.
Right.
Because as you know, people can say, you can say things, and when it's translated to paper or it's testified to in court, it can seem differently.
Yes.
But nothing cuts through video. You push play on the computer and let the judges or the jury see what actually transpired and what was actually said, goes a long way. And now, at this day and age, if you don't have it, juries are going to find people not guilty who are guilty because you don't have the video. Why don't you have the video? And we get, videos go down, things crash. I'll tell you real quick.
just like everything else.
Yeah, we had a real quick case probably happened right after I made chief, 2015, 2014. Part of our server, we were talking to Larry about servers, one of our video servers crashed. And the IT person we had at the time was like, well, I'm just going to get rid of it. I said, no. You take that server, you put it in evidence, because there's going to be a case on there. And sure enough, we had a DUI case, and the officer went up and testified that there was body camera, but he's unable to retrieve it because the server crashed. And the judge ordered us, the defense said, well, I want to be able to get this out. So I sent the IT, we got an order for it. I sent the IT person up with the server. He put the server on the desk, and the judge asked him a question. He goes, can you get that out of there? He goes, I can't, but the chief had it looked at, and maybe the possibility to recover this is $100,000. We have to send it to a special company out west, and they're saying it's $100,000 to $110,000 to recover any video on that.
And were they successful in doing
Well,
that?
the defense wanted us to pull it, and the judge says, no, that's unreasonable. You can do it.
Oh,
And add it to
okay.
your defense.
Right.
Here's the server. Here's the evidence. There it is.
Right.
But, we just couldn't prove it. And the gentleman wound up pleading because the judge helped us a little bit. But, hey,
Right.
it was true. It was true and accurate. But people want to see the video, and they try to get it. And or if they don't see it, they hold it against the prosecution, which we try not to.
Right. No, I think, and hats off to Larry and our police officers for dealing with antiquated systems because, hopefully Senator Fetterman and Congressman Fitzpatrick on their end at the federal level will take our request seriously and not have it as a bargaining chip in the budget and remove it because it's essential that we have these systems in our cars. And hats off to Senator Farry and Representative Monroe for helping us too. I know
They're aggressive. They're both doing everything these jurisdictions need in helping us, bringing things back to this part of the state, especially Bucks County and this area, Warminster. We've given a lot over the years, and we haven't taken a lot.
I can agree with that, and which is why I advocate for us as well, and I agree. Anything else you'd like to touch on, Chief? I think we kind of covered everything.
Yeah.
So anyway, once again, I really appreciate you coming out and spending some of your valuable time educating the public on what we do, what some of the issues we face to maintain a police department, and I want to commend you again and your police force for an outstanding professional job. And thanks
Like
for coming out.
I stand on the shoulders of giants, and my guys and my men and women are the people I stand on. So.
Yeah, well said.
Thank you.
Well said. Well, thank you, and we'll see you again in a week or so.